Over the years, we've seen some various tactical innovations from managers across the history of the game, but only one is the ultimate formation, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is 4-4-2. Not my words, but the words of England's greatest ever manager, Mike Bassett. Bassett's rise to the top job was long in the making, having previously been at Norwich City, where Bassett won the Mr. Clutch Cup before being appointed England manager ahead of the 2002 World Cup. Bassett got the job in tragic circumstances when then England boss Phil Cope suffered a heart attack during the qualification stage for the World Cup. The Football Association, desperate to find the right man for the job, looked at the most successful manager in the Premier League at the time, Sir Alex Ferguson, but he's Scottish. Unfortunately for the FA, they searched far and wide, with all the other English managers in the Premier League turning down the job or being uninterested in it. They went to Italy, Germany, Spain to find an appointment. They just couldn't find the right person. So they went to England's lower divisions. Bassett, a former Doncaster Rovers, Darlington, Hull City and Grimsby Town player, received mounting press speculation about the job, so much so that they mobbed him at his house before he'd even received a phone call from the Football Association. And according to the press at the time, it was his son that answered the phone to tell his dad that he was the new England manager. His staff included assistant manager and used car salesman Lonnie Urquhart, who we understand only took the job because Mike bought a used car off him. Dave Dodds was appointed as an England coach, someone described as a sycophantic yes man who Bassett worked with at Colchester United. England needed one win from 3 remaining games to qualify for the World Cup. Bassett, ever the non-conformist, adopted an old-fashioned 4-4-2 formation with the team sheet written on the back of a cigarette packet. Bassett's first game as England manager came against Poland and unfortunately ended with a 2-1 defeat despite England taking an early lead in the match. The media, ever quick to criticise Bassett's greatness, slammed him for his tactics, and the rumour of discontent in the dressing room with players unhappy with Bassett's appointment. When the coaching team went to review the game, this is allegedly, they found that the tape of the Poland match had actually been used twice, and they were instead watching gardening show Ground Force. Bassett's next idea was to improve the team's well-being and organised a session with a sports science institute. However, this resulted in many key players getting injured before the next match against Belgium. The squad selectors for the Belgium game called upon 2 ageing third division players to help England, with players Benson and Hedges making their England debuts, although this didn't go down well with the press, and England were smoked by Belgium, losing 3-0. England drew their last match in qualification 0-0 with Slovenia. However, results elsewhere meant that they qualified on goal difference for the World Cup of 2002 in Brazil. The group stage was tough for England, drawing 0-0 with an unfancied Egypt side and losing 4-0 to Mexico. The mentality of the team was at a low point, with players getting drunk, fighting each other, and indeed fighting some of the locals. It all boils over when England's assistant manager Lonnie Urquhart punches Mike in the face ahead of their final group game with Argentina. The morning after that fracas, Bassett faces the press for one final time, reciting the words of Rudyard Kipling's If, before announcing proudly that, quote, England will be playing 4-4-2, before storming out of the press conference. England were largely the better team against Argentina, but just couldn't get that breakthrough goal before England legend Kevin Tonkinson scored after the ball hits the crossbar and deflects off the England player. Some will say it hit his hand, but I would say that it was the hand of God. Despite their early struggles, England end up in the semi-finals, beating Romania and France on the way to facing host Brazil, where they do unfortunately eventually lose, but do match the brilliance of the Italian 90 England team by reaching the World Cup semi-final. Speculation over whether Bassett would continue in the role mounts as the team return from Brazil, and Bassett announces to the England faithful waiting to greet him at the airport that he will indeed stay on as England manager. Unfortunately, Bassett was sacked after England failed to qualify for Euro 2004 after losing to Liechtenstein of all countries. He would go on to suffer back-to-back relegations with Newcastle United before unsuccessfully returning to Norwich City and Colchester United. So ends the story of Mike Bassett, the greatest underdog England manager of all time.